Well, welcome to the first tour garage, and I thought the best place to start would be just to discuss the bike build, something I've been working on and planning for the last 2 years. So let's dive in. Starting off with the bike itself, which is a Bombtrack Arise Tour, a company based out of Germany, and this bike is made for the long haul. Super blessed to be using it as my rig. Of course, the first modification is throwing on a Brooks B17. The stock saddle that it came with, actually I used on my commuter for half a year, and I really enjoyed it. But for the distance, I'm going to use my Brooks 17, which I bought used for about 30 euros and have been using for a year now, and just fell in love with it. As far as the rims and the tires themselves, I am starting off with the stock ones that come with the bike, which are WTB double-sided rims and V tires. My plan is to use the V Speedster tires until about Istanbul, where I will switch it over to the trusted marathons as I go into the more Eastern and Asian countries. Something new to me that I've never used will be these bar end shifters made by Microshift. They're a little bit different than the bump shifters that I've been using, and I'm excited to use them. They are highly recommended for long touring, as you can kind of micro adjust as things get out of whack. So I'm excited to use them, but they're definitely a new concept to me. Alongside the bar end shifters, we also have Microsoft components, which come stock with the Arise Tour. Next up, we have TRP Spire C disc brakes. These I fell in love with on my last bike and super stoked to have them on the tour. And honestly, got a little bit spoiled and couldn't imagine having anything else. Now, moving away with some of the stock parts, we're going to go into my biggest and probably most excited modification, which is the Redshift shock stop stem. And what this is a stem mount that absorbs shock. It has a system inside of it with two rubber placeholders that help alleviate the vibrations in the handlebars and acts kind of as a mini shock system for the front of the bike. This is going to come in super handy for my left wrist, which I broke when I was younger, and I've always had issues with ever since. This is going to be a lifesaver, and I'm so excited to have this on my bike. So something I personally wanted on my bike was a dynamo hub, not only just to power the lights, but also to be able to charge battery packs, GPS, emergency devices, anything I need on the go. And so I'm very lucky that the Arise has a standard KT dynamo hub installed. With that, it is linked up with a Supernova E3 Pure 3 front light, which I am very impressed with how bright it is. So using that hub, I put on a Cycle 2 Charge V3, and this allows for me to plug in USB devices to be charged directly from the dynamo hub. What I did have to do is add an additional switch to the wiring system so that I could turn off the lights and it solely charge my battery pack, and excited to see how this will work out. So due to me wanting to put on much larger water bottle cages to be able to carry any size water bottle, I needed to start off with lowering the mount down. And here I used a Topeak alt position cage mount, which gives it an extension to be lowered. And from there, I put on a Blackburn outpost cage. And these are a unique system that are made so that you can actually put them on the forks of your bike and carry bags, bottles, whatever you want, but also can be put on the same mounting system as your water bottle. And they're much wider. They use straps, but since they are bigger, I had to put an additional mount. It's the same thing with the front, but the front, because it was in a little bit different position, I needed to actually raise it up so it wouldn't bang on the back wall water bottle. So here I used a Wolftube B-Rad 3-slot base mount. And what this did was allowed me to push the Blackburn mount, Blackburn cage up high enough where it doesn't rub on the back, but still fits under that top bar. Once I got this system figured out, I threw on some Nalgene 48-ounce bottles, and it fit perfectly. Very excited about that. And what's nice about this is I can use those for water on a daily purpose, but if I need to, I can strap those onto my panniers and then put on water bottles, 1.5 liter water bottles from grocery stores or whatever I have available. The last mount is dealing with the undercarriage. I wanted to put a fuel canister under here. That way the fuel doesn't smell up any of my bags. If it leaks, it's easy to get to and it's out of the way. And since the Arise Tour has mounts underneath, you know, why not use this space? But to do that, I did need to lower the cage once again because it was going to rub on that front fender. So I used a Tall Peak alt position cage mount, just like I did on the back water bottle. And from there, I just put a standard steel Lesnine power cage water bottle holder. I wanted something that if it gets bumped up against stuff, it would hold. So it's a pretty sturdy and stout mount, but fits perfectly. And here you can see that the actual bottle itself is in a great position with no rub and is quite protected. Now moving on to one of my favorite creations, something that I haven't really seen a lot of tours use, but something that I've used in the past and fell in love with, is my handlebar setup. And the first thing I threw on was my Peak Design T2 aero bars. And these aero bars are not actually meant realistically for the purpose of being aero. I'm carrying a lot of weight and massive panniers, and realistically there's not much aero about touring. But this does a couple things. One, it gives me 2 or 3 different positions to change it up as I hold onto the bike. So when you're having long days and you're tired and your wrists are getting worn out, your hands are, you have alternate positions. 2, it actually does help me, and I'm in a more comfortable position when I'm in a headwind. So it does actually perform a little bit better in that sense. And there's a couple other features as you'll see here, but realistically it's more for comfort and having alternate positions that I can go down into for those long days. But aero bars are not really that comfortable unless they're a little bit higher up. You're in too aggressive a position, your back's going to start hurting. So I slapped on some 40mm risers, which one gave me a way more comfortable position. I can actually sit upright, put my hands on the pads, or if I want to get in the aero position, it's a lot more comfortable. And 2, it actually gives me a lot more space for later on where you'll see my handlebar bag doesn't rub on the top wheel because I have that extra 4 centimeters of height to put it under. And since I have all of this extra handlebar, I wanted to utilize it the best I could. And so I slapped on a Peak Design Aero Bridge, which connects the ends. Here I will put on a camera, I will put on a light if I need to. And now I have just an extra spot where I have ability to mount things and kind of Swiss Army knife the front bar. With that, I found another aero bar that bridges across. It's the Profile Design UCM Verbindungsbrücke. And I don't think this is produced anymore, but it was a really cool find because when you pop off that top little lid, it has a screw mount. And what I'm using that screw mount for is to mount my phone. So with that second bridge installed, I was able to put a SP Connect micro stem mount, and this is just a phone mount system that's used quite a bit on actual motorcycles and bikes themselves, and it's able to just screw right onto that bridge, and it creates this completely flat surface with my phone that's out of the way and is in the perfect position for GPS, phone calls, whatever I might need. Getting into the bags, I put on my standard Specialized Mini wedge, which is about 0.8 liter bag. I've used this for the last few years, and basically it holds my inner tube, my multi-tool, my actual bike tool, a couple tire levers, and a patch kit. And basically, instead of me having to dig around in all my bags when I get a flat or have some screws come loose, I can just zip up that bag, grab what I need, and keep going. It makes life on the road, to me, a lot easier. and it's just basically that quick fix kit. Now to mount my big bags, I'm using the Tubus Taras. Tubus racks are well known for being some of the best on tour, and once again I'm very, very blessed that the Arise Tour comes stock with both front and back Tubus racks. What's cool about the rear rack, the Tubus Logo Evo, is that the tail light is already mounted on there and the wiring is integrated inside of the rack itself, which is powered by that dynamo hub. So these Tubus racks will be carrying Ortlieb panniers. The front rack will be carrying the Sport Roller Classics. In the rear will be the back Roller Classics, and hopefully this will give me enough room to carry all the supplies I need for the next year. Also, a last minute bag addition I was able to snatch up is the Wizard Works Shazam Mini. It is the perfect size between my aero bars and the width of my actual handlebars, and still doesn't rub that fender, and gives me an option to carry quick grabs like coats, extra tools, anything that I might want on a daily basis, and most importantly, snacks. And the last bag addition, and actually the last addition in total to my build, is these 7R stem bags. I've been using these 7R stem bags for about half a year on my other bike while I was bikepacking and touring, and really fell in love with the stem bag system. One side I carry a quick grab water bottle, the other side I carry even more snacks, and I'm able to put in my battery pack to be charged from the dynamo hub in one of those side bags. And then there's of course little things I carry on the outside, quick grab knife for little fixes or creating peanut butter sandwiches, chapstick, anything that I might need just added on right there. And I really love this stem bag system. So that's a relatively fast look of the actual build I'm starting out with. Of course, along the way, I will have to modify it as I see fit. But this is the initial start. I'm really happy with how it turned out and really excited to just test it out, because all of this has been in my head for 2 years, and I'm ready to actually put it on the trail and see how it works out.